Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at University Mall, also known as the U Mall, in South Burlington, Vermont. Once again, I'm asking the question, is this a dead mall, a dying mall, or is it doing just fine? I'm sure there'll be plenty of disagreement about this in the comments, but my feeling is that this mall is doing just fine. It may not be doing as well as it did 20 or 30 years ago, but in the grand scheme of things, I would say it's holding its own. And as of 2022, it was 95% occupied. How long it stays that way, though, is anybody's guess. This mall opened in 1979. The original anchor stores were Zayre and Almies. The Zayre actually opened in 1970, 9 years before the mall did, and the Almies opened in 1978, about a year before the mall did. So essentially the mall was built around those original anchor stores, which is kind of unusual, I think. Here's the Target, which was Vermont's first Target location. It's also the location of the original anchor store Almies, which was here from 1978 until 1987. It then became Steinbach in 1989. The Steinbach closed in 1999. It then became the Bon-Ton the same year. And then the Bon-Ton lasted until 2018 when it went out of business. And then Target moved in the same year in 2018. And for those of you wondering, this video was filmed on a Wednesday at about 1 p.m., roughly a month before Christmas. So again, at the height of the shopping season. And while it's not super busy in here, there were a fair number of shoppers, a lot more shoppers than I've seen at a lot of other malls I've been to recently. So now the question is, why is this mall still hanging on? I think one reason is probably its location. It's near the University of Vermont and an airport, so it gets a lot of business from college students and travelers. According to one source I found, the mall gets over 4 million visitors a year, which is the most of any one shopping center in Vermont. Also, as far as enclosed malls go, it really doesn't have any competition in the area. It's currently the only enclosed shopping mall in this part of Vermont. There used to be another mall nearby, City Place, but it's now closed and being transformed into apartments. The next closest mall is the Central Vermont Marketplace, which used to be called the Berlin Mall in Berlin, Vermont, but it's almost an hour away, and it's so small that it's barely a mall anymore. So when it comes to enclosed malls in Vermont, University Mall is really the only option. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up. Thanks. This is where Sears was located. The Sears was added during an expansion of the mall between 1997 and 1998. They also added a 4-story parking garage to the mall at the same time, and the Sears closed in 2020. Let's take a quick look inside. And I'm not sure what all of those folding tables are. I'm guessing there might have been some other shop in here after Sears closed, like some kind of pop-up shop maybe, but I'm not sure. So as I was saying, the mall is hanging in there. It seems to be doing fairly okay at this point. But that's not to say that the mall hasn't had its issues, especially over the last decade or so. Like with most malls, a lot of this is probably due to online shopping and the fact that not nearly as many people visit malls today as they did back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not surprisingly, malls in general have become less profitable, and as a result, in 2016, the mall's former owners, Finard Properties, defaulted on their loan and the mall was foreclosed on. The mall was put under the control of LNR Properties and Key Point Partners and then sold to Taconic Capital and Eastern Real Estate in 2020 for $60 million. However, from what I've seen, it does appear that the mall's new owners are maintaining the property, and like I mentioned earlier, the occupancy rate is fairly high, so hopefully this mall won't be going anywhere anytime soon. It kind of feels like there should be a fountain here. So let me know in the comments, did there used to be fountains in this mall? And if so, was there one right there? Here's the food court, or what's left of it. When I was looking at the Yelp reviews online, the overwhelming number of negative comments were about the food court and how there's barely any selection. And I have to agree, there's apparently only 2 restaurants in here. There's that one at the very start when you first enter, and then there's this pizza restaurant to the left, but everything else is closed. I'm assuming where that wall is on the right used to be all restaurants. So yeah, that's not a good sign there. And again, if you've been to this mall before, let me know in the comments, when did the food court start looking like this? When did most of these restaurants move out? And why? Why did the restaurants move out, but then most of the stores stayed? That seems a little unusual to me. Here's the JCPenney. This JCPenney was not an original anchor store. It actually didn't open until 1992. From what I understand, before the JCPenney was there, that used to be more just regular mall stores. And then the JCPenney took over the entire area and also added a small addition to it. I may be incorrect about this next bit of information as it wasn't entirely clear online. If that's the case, please correct me in the comments. But I believe that the original mall stretched from where I entered the mall until about where I'm standing now, and I believe that this is where the original Zayre store was located. The building that Kohl's is in today at the end of the hall was originally built as a freestanding building between 1987 and 1989. The mall itself would have ended about halfway between where I am now and where the Kohl's is today, so there would have been a gap between the mall and the Zayre building. Then around 1989, or maybe slightly earlier, they demolished the old Zayre and turned it into this mall area and then connected it to the new Zayre building, forming this hallway. The new Zayre building, which is where the Kohl's is today, opened in early 1989, but was rebranded as an Ames about 8 months later in late 1989. The Ames closed in 2002 when Ames went out of business, and then the Kohl's moved in 2004. If you've been to this mall before, or especially if this was your childhood mall, say back in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, let me know how it compares today to the way it did back then. You know, what do you think of the mall today? Do you think it's a dead mall, a dying mall, or is it doing just fine? And I stand behind saying it's doing just fine. It's maybe approaching dying mall, but I don't think it's quite there yet. I think it's got a ways to go before it gets into that territory. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments. And now don't go anywhere yet. Like always, we're going to do a quick drive around to the mall and see what it looks like from the outside. There's the parking garage that they built between 1997 and 1998, at the same time as the Sears. Here's the Target, which was originally the Almies, and then a Steinbach, and then the Bon-Ton. This is the JCPenney building that was built in 1992. Here's the Kohl's building, which was originally built, like I said, between 87 and 89 as the second location of Zayre. It became Ames in late 1989, and then it became the Kohl's in 2004. And there you have it. That's the University Mall in South Burlington, Vermont. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and here's some bonus footage of the old Sears Auto Center. All right, see ya.